All right, this is your target 7-color earth sands in Mauritius photographic timeline. Chamarel. Second. Okay, this is an above view of the area. It's a pretty big park, 8.5 hectares, which is a bit more than an acre. It's a couple acres, I think, per hectare. Um, and these are the different colors in the sand, and they kind of, again, they stick to each other. They like to stay separate. Racist sand. These blue people. Yeah. Uh, Tortoises again. These guys again, the ones that are over here are now extinct, and I'll show you an image of that. They came here, the Dutch, and they enslaved these tortoises. You can see that, and they murdered them, and they sat on them. So this is like an image from one of the websites talking about this area. Um, yeah, big tortoises. So a few things to watch here is these Dutch guys. I don't know if that's a woman or a man, but they're kind of sitting on this tortoise. The things they have in their hand, the water line, boats, them kind of hanging around. Some imagery of this. It's pretty colorful. And depending on the sun, if it's like bright, it might be a little dimmer. If it's like a little low light, you might see the colors a bit more separated and bright. And the waterfall in the area. Coming in with some data, I think this is Kimberly. Kimberly, you got the pathway leading onto this. The structures here that is connected to the pathway, and then you have this kind of like rigid, rough, kind of rolling type of area that you've collected. And that's the sands. Here you've got, again, just very much the same. And this person with a hat. There's a lot of tourists here. They all wear hats, and it might be somebody like the Dutch that came here too, some historical aspects. And we'll just damn zoom thing. And yeah, you have these things sticking up out of the ground, and they're around the tourist area. There's a lot of these, and they kind of just go around this entire park. But these specifically, this is an image using a target pack. And yes, you have like fluffy, grainy, just kind of like here you say something kind of fluffy, and you can compare that to the ridges of the the sand itself, and then these connecting areas probably being the pathways and the structures along the pathways and the overlooks. Josipa, probably around the pathway here, and then you have these two people kind of sitting. This is an image using the target pack. Two people sitting on this textured thing, and I believe that to be this war turtle right here that they turn into murder turtle. Jeremy, you have the mountain ridges in the background, and you have the fence line along the way next to it. And here I was thinking more along the lines of the different ridges along this area. And you have again this structure, lots of different structures, overlooks, overhangs, and then people, kids. Uh, Shane, you can see these. This is the fence. That's where you're catching on to. If I go back, that's the fence. And that was your visual ideograms. Your S3, and I think it was just catching on to the area itself and some of the historical aspects of this. Now we need to pay attention to the guy with the thing in his hand and what's happening here. Uh, again, lots of boats would be in this area at the time, and the kind of wooden boats, woody. Mauritius. This is like going down into the water. Waterway, boats, really small, near a wall, and a populated area and pleasant weather. Some of the structures here. And again, this is what you're catching on to. Look at just the design on this, very much the same.
Who owns Mauritius?
I don't know, but Mauritius sounds beautiful. All right, more of the historical aspects again. You have this person kind of uh getting the rope up on this boat, and you can kind of see some of that happening here in the background, more relating to the Dutch than anything. And there's boat activity happening right now as well. It might be more contemporary, but just looking at the boat and it describing it as wooden, it's making me think back in the day. And your Dutch guy here, who's a man in period costume, Napoleonic hat, some really elaborate hats that these guys are wearing. Um, and military uniform with something in his hand and carrying some sort of staff. Greta, you can see that coming through on these images here, like the various waves and transitions that's happening on the ground. Again, another guy, something holding in his hand. Um, the the waves on the ground, and you have something saying like magnetic field, something like that, like a wave. And there is something keeping these sand granules racist. So I don't know exactly what that is, but brown stick with browns, purple stick with purple. Um, whose is this? Victorita? No, it's not Victorita. I don't quite remember whose this is, but
That's
um,
mine. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, it's mine. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, Greta, you have this structure here along with the pathway leading. You can see that from above. And you mentioned gravel, dirt, dust in the area. This is Victorita's. Victorita, a lot of the dirt areas, you can kind of see that. Something moving, but you have these squiggly lines with it. And there is a part of this that's moving and it's trying to get back together with the other purples and browns. Um, and then some of the imagery here of the kind of a wavy type of environment with a pathway. Racine, here's your person kind of looking at this wavy area that's colored. And you have more of that where you have this person kind of standing some sort of like overlook. You mentioned here like pier, and this might be relating to the actual water. But looking at this is the target. You can see the correlation here, especially with this person kind of just sitting here and looking at these various waves that you colored in. Um, and again, you have this wooden like thing that these guys would be standing on, like an elevated wood structure. You had something that's elevated. And you had a really nice S3 where you had the mountains in the background. You know there was water there, which was the case, very close by. And then you had somebody on a platform looking into sand. Really good S3. And here's your waterfall. Is that the target? And you're a war turtle. It's ugly for a reason because it's a turtle. you can you can even look at the guy's hat, his arms sticking out.
Not a horse, not a horse.
Yeah. All right. This is your overhang area. Um, People would sit here and then you go down, and you have that perfectly recorded, people looking over, looking at something. There's a waterfall. And you had a guy in a pathway here, a lot of walking, which would be taking place. Uli. So looking at your work here, you had just like sort of like ridgy areas. You had something here that seemed to be water that's splashing. You have this person that's hiking along the way, and you can look in here. You see the mountains in the background, and you see this pathway here that multiple people are walking on. You had the waterfall, and you had the just ridge sort of area. I don't know if that's the right word for that. And what, just like look at this, like none of these images were colored, but this one was. Um, Again, you had the mountain and the water leading out, the water, the people in the boats, and then you had these colors that Uli decided to color in for no particular reason. And just look how closely matched they are to the actual location. So that's information like to me that's like your body knows something, but you're it pushes you in a direction to actually paint this out. And then look at the colors here as well in your S3. You had this kind of Reggie like location, with multiple layers, and then the colors are pretty close. And then you have the people walking in this kind of back and forth pathway leading to a structure. And then you had the trees. There you go. And here's your waterfall. There is a river as well with your waterfall. Uh, what's this? I think this is Uli still, yeah. And yeah, just look at that. It's pretty closely matched. Even the scan of your picture is kind of like the coloration of that is kind of weird. And then you had the boats and the mountaineer, the people hiking in this area. Lester, the structures here. You had this, yeah, you can see the lines that's repeated, the tree lines that's around the area. And then you had this patch here that you thought was like, you know, maybe like a volcanic situation, which was the case. They think this formed because of volcanism. Um, and yeah, dirt, nature, people walking. And here's your S3, which was really good. Again, you had the kind of like dome, not dome, like volcano situation, and then you had the tree lines, the pathway, and then natural terrain next to it, which is very well represented. And you had the cliff in the north, rock face, maybe water nearby, crater in the mountains, surrounded by mountains, trees, vegetation, a road dividing two pieces of land, mountainous, trees, vegetation on either side. And that's all I have for that.